Before we start today's video, just a quick announcement. If you subscribe this month or in the month of Ramadan, you'll be able to gain access to my server for only $7 a month. And this payment of $7 will continue after the month of Ramadan, where you will forever only be paying $7. However, if you choose to subscribe and gain access to the server after the month of Ramadan, then you would have to pay the original price of $10 a month. The funding supports the channel, makes me able to create these weekly lessons on the server, as well as gives you direct access to myself on the server, and supports the channel for the funding on thumbnail making, editing, and other things. Inshallah, today we're going to be reacting to this video made by God Logic, where he went live for about 5 hours with Sam Shamoon and other clowns like Jay Dyer and so on. Within this video particularly, we're gonna take out a section whereby Asa and I will be reacting to certain points and clarifying some topics pertaining to Aqidah. Now, without further ado, let's begin the video now, inshallah.
Call me out on that when I say I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, of course you can. Of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course you can.
So just to be clear, we don't know if Allah's hand resembles our hands. We don't know that. We don't know if his hands do resemble our hands or not.
Yes, we don't know.
So his hands could resemble our hands. We just don't know. We just don't know.
By the way, I don't know if he's a Sunni Muslim.
All right, did you want to address that point?
Yeah. So in regards to Allah's attributes resembling us, Allah makes it clear in the Quran when He says "Laysa kamithlihi shay," that there is nothing comparable to Him. So in modality, we're not similar to Allah at all. In the meaning, for example, of the functions that a hand can do, a hand can grasp, a hand can mold, and Allah's hands can do these things as well. So that's the meaning of laysa kamithlihi shay in this context.
If you're a Sunni Muslim, I beg to differ. Are you Sunni?
Yes.
Well, no, then your hadith say that Adam was made in the surah of Allah and made after his shape. So we do know, because Allah and Adam are actually clones according to your tradition. That's in your Sahih traditions. It says that Adam was created, I should give it to you. Adam was created in the shape of Allah with his height of 60 cubits. So we do know, because Adam was Allah's clone.
You're saying that.
Right, so first of all, Sam, he's presupposing that when we predicate or assign descriptions to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what we're doing here is we're assigning descriptions univocally and not analogically. But as we know, like, we assign things analogically. There's going to be some level of similarity, but that small level of similarity is where that similarity ends, right? Now I'll let you expand on also the explanation on the hadith you brought.
Yeah, the explanation of the hadith was reiterated by Shaykh ibn Baz, may Allah have mercy on him, when he was asked. There's a hadith narrated from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in which he says, he forbids saying, may Allah deform your face, and he says that Allah created Adam in his image. What is the correct belief in regards to this hadith? And he replied, this hadith is proven from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that says, if anyone who strikes another, let him avoid the face, for Allah created Adam in his image. So what is meant by this, according to the scholars, like Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah and others from the Salaf earlier from him, is that Allah created Adam with the ability to hear, see, and to speak when he wants. These are also attributes of Allah, for he is all hearing, all seeing, and he speaks when he wants, and he has a face, may he be glorified and exalted. But it doesn't mean there's any resemblance or likeness. Rather, the image of Allah is different from the image of the created beings. And what is meant is that he's all hearing and all seeing, and he speaks when he wants. And he created Adam. And Adam can also hear and see with face and hands and feet. But a man's hearing is not like Allah's hearing. His seeing is not like Allah's seeing. And his speaking is not like Allah's speaking. Rather, Allah has attributes that befit His majesty and might. And man has attributes that befit him, attributes that are finite and imperfect. Whereas the attributes of Allah are perfect, with no shortcoming, infinite and without end. Hence Allah says, Laysa kamithlihi shay. So the meaning of this is that Adam was created with these attributes that have meaning, which is known. For example, the meaning of hearing is known. The meaning of knowledge is known. But the likeness in reality, there is no likeness in this actual reality. There's laysa kamithlihi shay. There's no similar modality. There's no similar modality.
And the reason why there's no similarity between the modalities is because the subjects itself, when assigning these attributes to them, it's gonna be different. When I have knowledge and Allah has knowledge, my knowledge is gonna be limited, while Allah's will be unlimited. You have all-encompassing knowledge. Or for example, when I exist and Allah exists, because the subject with pertaining to myself is a created, limited subject, it's gonna be completely different to when I assign it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, in the same way, and the Jahmiyyah, the reason why people didn't have a problem with this is because people understood we predicate things analogically. For example, the Jahmiyyah, who were the heretics, they used to say Allah can't be the most merciful because mercy implies that you're weak-hearted and Allah can't be weak. But the Salaf understood that we predicate these things analogically. So the lawazim or the entailments don't have to apply for Allah. Yes, for us, when we give mercy, it's because we're weak-hearted, but this is removed from Allah. For humans, when we have knowledge, it's because we have a brain. Now, this doesn't mean that Allah has to have a brain, right? So the entailments are removed from Allah in regards to things that don't befit His Majesty.
No, I'm okay, I get it. So you're making the claim that the hadith state that Adam is a clone of God.
You better
That's what
believe.
you're
I'm
saying.
going to show it to you right
Could
now.
you present that evidence?
With pleasure. Hold on. I'm going to show it to you.
He said with
Thank you.
pleasure.
All right. With pleasure. Let me just get it. Yeah. So it says created.
I got it.
Mushrif. Allah and Adam are identical because Adam was created after the Surah of Allah with his height of 60 cubits. So that means Adam was 90 feet tall, according to your sound narrations, which means that if he's created after the shape and the form of Allah, that means Allah is 90 feet tall. So here it is. He's going to open it up. Did you get to the right article right there?
Yeah, so as I explained before, he's presupposing a univocal predication here, as well as he's assuming that when it says his height was 60 cubits, it's referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But no, there's a separation between Adam alayhi salam being made in Allah's surah, which is, as you explained, being able to see, being able to hear, like how Allah is able to see and hear, but the modality between the two, or the howness, is different. That's what's being referenced as having a similar surah. But when it pertains to 60 cubits, that's something separate. It's just saying a fact. Well, it says two things. There's two propositions. Adam alayhi salam was made in Allah's surah, and he was 60 cubits tall. So these are two separate things being said.
Now read what it says right after that.
These two hadith indicate that the pronoun in the phrase "in His image" refers to Allah, may He be glorified. From these hadith, we learn that it is proven that Allah has an image, surah in Arabic, in a manner that befits Him. May He be glorified and exalted. His image is one of His attributes, which cannot be likened. Yeah,
sifat, which we're talking about right now. Keep on.
Mhm.
Which cannot be likened to the attributes of created beings, just as His essence cannot be likened to their essence. And he, Ibn Taymiyyah,
I notice who it is, Jay Ibn Taymiyyah.
Yeah, and notice how he literally read how the attributes can't be likened to created people's attributes.
Yeah. And look, what's funny is here, if you look at the screen, it says the Prophet's word Adam was created in His image, means that Allah created Adam in His image, for he has a face, an eye, and a hand and a foot, and Adam has a face, eye, hand, and a foot. But it doesn't mean that these things are exactly the same. There is some types of similarity, but it's not exactly the same. So, for example, like similarly, the first group to enter paradise are likened to the moon, but they're not exactly the same, right? So it's once again an analogical predication. But he's just debunked himself with his own source, by the way.
Yeah. But what he says.
There was no dispute among the Salaf of the first three generations that the pronoun in the hadith refers to Allah. And it is narrated through who began to say knowledge and to follow the sunnah in most of their affairs. So
Now look how they conclude. What do they conclude?
the Prophet's words, Adam was created in His image, means that Allah created Adam in His image. For he has a face, an eye, a hand, and a foot. And Adam had a face, an eye, a hand, and a foot.
Hmm.
But that does not mean that these things are exactly the same.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
There
But
is,
I think we got it, right? Because it confirms the view of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Now click on
before you
Yeah, you notice how Avery stopped reading and Sam made him stop as soon as they were going to get to that part that you mentioned, which is
Which shows analogical predication.
there's some similarity, but not exactly the same. Similarly, the first group to enter paradise are likened to the moon, but they are not exactly the same. So his idea, Sam Shamoon's idea of, oh, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Adam alayhi salam as a clone, that doesn't follow from the very quote he's quoting from. And it's from...
Unless the first group of paradise are like a clone of the moon.
clone of a moon.
It doesn't follow. He literally debunks himself, which is embarrassing. But yeah.
continue, just to be clear for my sake. So both of these paragraphs were both from Ibn Taymiyyah?
yeah,
right here?
because it says Sisha.
Now, can I make one point too before you go on?
Yes.
To the earlier point that I was talking about with the early Muslims and their wars and their battles, modern Muslims are still writing and critiquing and calling this position idolatry and anthropomorphic heresy. So
Yeah, it is. I agree.
no, wait a minute.
I
So
agree.
now you're saying they're all, wait, hold on. So Jake and Daniel and all those people are idolaters?
The link.
No, I think that just because there's
I tell you what's ironic as well, because he would consider Sam a heretic.
a comment that says that, you know, God has a hand or a foot or an eye, you can't anthropomorphize these things.
The question thing. Where's this?
What did these hadiths do?
What do you mean? What do they
Right,
do?
guys, hold
I
on.
mean,
Just click on the link.
it clearly says that just because something may have been, you know, a hand in a hand or a foot in a foot does not mean that these things share likeness in any form. That's clearly said.
Okay,
Well,
Jake, can I
so the actual measurements, like it actually gave you a measurement.
Do you think God has a measurement?
Jake, can I interrupt? Did you read the hadith? It said that Allah
You believe
created
God
man.
has a measurement?
Okay.
No, your hadith says that, not me.
Yes. Did you hear the hadith? Hold on. It said Allah created
No,
Adam.
it doesn't say
Allah-
God has
Yes, it
a
does.
measurement.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
It
does.
does not
does.
say that.
Yes,
It
it
says
does.
that Adam had measurements.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it said
It
Allah.
literally says
Go up.
his image was created 60 cubits.
No, it says after his height.
Yes.
It's
In our
Allah's
own
height.
his length
No,
of 60
it's
cubits.
Adam's.
Yeah, these guys can't read
it-
English.
Yeah, it doesn't say after his height. It says, Allah the Exalted and Glorious created Adam in his own image with his, being referred to Adam, with his length of 60 cubits. Now, try to find me one person amongst the Salaf or from the classical scholars who hold to our creed within the Athar. Try to find us one scholar who claimed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is 60 cubits based on this hadith.
Yeah,
You won't
it's
be able to
silly.
find it. They only extrapolate the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a surah, but they never extrapolate that he has a height.
It's lack of like comprehension skills. Allah created Adam on his form, and his height was 60 cubits.
Exactly.
Like he's serious. Like, wow, amazing. Sam like picked up something that 1,400 years of scholarship who know the Arabic language couldn't pick up, and then you got like bald-headed Sam like that can't even read English properly. So wow, somehow he's found out like a new attribute of God.